Dawkins and Dawkins. And so let me know if I spell that or say that correctly. And Eric, right? So
Yes,
we just
yes.
great, great. So we just want to thank you guys for taking out the time in your busy schedule to pursue this interview. Um, just been crazy about you guys over the last couple of weeks, and
Excited to hear what you all have to
yes,
share.
yes. So I want to thank you
Oh, wow.
for your time.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us for real.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get into it. You guys has been on a 10-year hiatus from working together. What occurred in your career or life that you had to take time off from being a duo?
I don't think anything really occurred other than us just being in a season of living, just living life, and we both have families. So we tell people all the time we're not bound to the traditional sense of being recording artists, where you record an album, put it out, you tour, and then maybe a year and a half later you're getting ready to put out another project. We've never really we've never been that type of group. We just kind of do it when we feel, especially when we got out of the label situations that we were in, which were par for the course. But we learned a lot and made some decisions that were best for us. It wasn't about what somebody else's idea or vision was. It was more about what we were hearing from God, and allowing Him to order our steps. So the time span between projects is just the time that we do life, just being regular, and we're still regular, even though we got projects out. We're some of the most regular dudes that you ever come across, and I think that's really because we love people, and we don't want to even come off like these larger than life superstar untouchable type people, because we love people so much. So
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, returning as a duo, was it kind of challenging for you all to get kind of back in the groove of things?
No, no. This is like because we've been together since we were, well, since I was
I was
one.
wondering what you were gonna say.
Yeah,
You were one.
one. So
I came along.
he came along, and then we start, we got maybe 3, 4, 5 in that age range. We started singing together with my mom, and the progression. We did our little groups, and we, got connected with Fred Hammond and commissioned those guys, and in the process, I mean, we were always doing stuff together, and so taking time off, um, taking time off was simply, I hate to say it was time. It was just time that we were doing other things, and when we come back together to sing, or when we get together to sing, it's very natural for us to do it together. It's not like we have to try to figure out, okay, the only things that we end up figuring out is like when we do stuff in the studio, when we sing in the studio, and then we get ready to go out, we have to of course listen to our music to kind of, okay, what did I do here? Okay, yeah, I did that. Oh, yeah, I got to do that. I got to do. Oh, I'm gonna switch this up. That kind of thing. But it's not hard, honestly. That's a long answer to your question, but it's not hard. It wasn't hard at all for us to get back together and just start singing, doing our thing.
You mentioned Fred Hammond. Was you a part of the choir, or you just connected with him to work with him? How did that connect?
The whole Fred Hammond story is, I mean, it's the the short answer is we were the biggest commission fan. And so whenever they were within, say, like a 2-hour drive from where we would go see them. So, over the time that we were growing up and really starting to get into music more, we would see them in concert, and one specific, I want to say this was in Pittsburgh, Anson, when you said, made that comment to the group. It's like, y'all don't know us, but y'all gonna know us. Like, and just, I don't even know why he said that. I mean, we were doing stuff on a local stage, you know, kind of regional with other groups that we were a part of, but we had some more foresight. We had a larger vision than that. So cut to, we were playing in the band and singing background for a friend of ours named Liz Lee, and she was good friends with Fred. And so we went to Detroit to have a rehearsal with her. And while we were there, we had, right before we got there, we did a demo tape at my dad's radio station, and we let her hear it, and she was like, "Hey, Fred needs to hear this." So she took us to Fred's house. We got to play our demo tape for Fred, and literally, like, right there on the spot, they were getting ready to leave town doing a commission gig, and he asked us if we wanted to be part of the band, and we were like, yeah. So the rest is kind of history. Of course, you know, there's process in between that, but because we were both in school, I was an engineer major, Anson was a pre-med student, and we just made a decision to jump out of school, because we felt like school would be there if we really need to come back. If we try this out for a few years and it don't work, we can always go back to school. But once we hit the road, that was it. Like, Dawkins and Dawkins was created, and this wave just, it's been kind of like a slow tsunami, because we've been doing this for a minute, and I think now is probably the kind of the culmination of all the years that we've been doing what we do, whether it be in gospel or writing for, you know, secular artists or whatever. So yeah, we were part of commission, not the choir. That the choir thing came after Fred had left commission and started Radical Christ.
Right.
But we were part of commission, and then we actually did some touring with Fred when he started his solo career. So yeah, that's
awesome. Let's get into your new single, "In My Feelings." You just released a new single this has been on the charts. Can you guys tell us a little about, you know, this amazing song?
You know, this song, "In My Feelings," was a song that was actually written and produced by Walter Millsap and Eric. And the deal was that Walter had asked Eric about, you know, hit him up about, hey, can you do a song like, you know, oh no, ask him, did he write Erica Campbell's song? What was this? Well Done. And, you know, no, he didn't write it. You know, he told me he didn't write it. You know, of course, he wished he had written it, because that's a great song. But then the thing was, Walter was like, hey, you think you could write something like that? You know, and Eric was like, who you think you no, you know, you cannot write something like that. I write all the time. I write hits, baby. No, he didn't do that. He didn't say that, but basically it was like, yeah, sure. And wrote, it was supposed to be for somebody else, for another artist, but that thing fell through. And then came down to, you know, we were getting ready to figure out, you know, what songs we were going to put on our project, and Eric was like, hey, Walt, hey, what happened with this song? You know, something went sideways, so, you know, oh, don't worry about it, we're gonna do it. Dawkins and Dawkins is doing it. So that was a done deal. And it fits us, you know. It's a great song, and it's a song about gratitude for what God has done, what God has done in our lives, and the idea that, you know, in my feelings can be a negative connotation. You know, a lot of times when people say it, or when songs that you've heard about it, it's been a negative connotation. But this is like, wow, when I think about, you know, all the things that, you know, the grace and the mercy, you know, the grace, the things that I don't deserve, and then the mercy, you know, I don't get what I do deserve. You know, it's like that kind of aspect. It just makes me grateful and gets me all up in my feelings about Jesus. So yeah, that's basically what the song is about. It's rolling pretty good right now on the charts and making some noise. So hopefully you know, it'll keep doing that, and as this new music continues to come out.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's very nice. Now you all are working on your new album titled Never Gets Old. What was the inspiration behind this project?
Well, a few things. One is, if you want to come from the spiritual or biblical aspect of never gets old, we continue every day to experience God's grace and mercy and favor, and it's kind of, how can you quantify something feeling new, feeling brand new over and over and over again? It's like, it just never gets old to me, you know, when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all these things.
Hey, come on, man. Come on.
Those type of situations where you experience something over and over again, but they're brand new mercies every day. And that part of the never gets old is just, I'm always amazed. I'm never shocked. I'm in awe, but I'm never shocked at how God continues to love on me or care for me or protect me or provide for me. And these are things that happen all the time, but they never get old. It's like some things you do day to day, like going to work, that gets old. Like you go punch that, gotta go punch this clock again. You do your workout. It gets old. Like you keep doing the same thing, you get tired, it gets mundane, it gets monotonous. But something about just the relationship with God, it just never gets old, even though it's the same thing every day. That aspect of it. And then the aspect, a lot of people look at us and like, do y'all age? Like, y'all look like y'all looked on the first, y'all could put the cross colors on and do the album cover that y'all did in '93. So we get that a lot. Like people just say, y'all never age. Y'all look really good for y'all's age.
I noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that too.
That was a part that never gets old. And then obviously the music that we do, we not even, I don't even think it's on purpose, but we do timeless music. Like you could play songs from our second album that came out in '94 and still have some relevance today. And you could play songs from the Focus album that came out in '98. That one, more particularly, people, they have a thing for that Focus project. It's like, bro, I was playing the Focus album yesterday and it sounded like it just came out last week. So we kind of fallen into that, you know, doing timeless music. So in that aspect of it, the music never gets old. So those three things kind of made us come up with the title Never Gets Old. And, you know, so we have volumes that we pick a theme for, and each song on that volume kind of falls under that theme, like Love and Light, which is the volume 1. All the songs on there can fall under the title or the theme of Love and Light.
That's great. That's great. And being brothers is one thing. Handling the business is another thing. What is it like working together all these years?
The best.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fabulous. To be able to get to see, because I mean, we grew up together, but then you have the time that we, you know, we did move out to the West Coast, and we haven't lived in the same city for many years now. And when we are able to get, you know, to actually work together, to, you know, travel together, to write together, it's just one of the best experiences that you can have, because it's, you know, it's the creative aspect that you get that comes along with being family. There's a different kind of creativity that comes with that, and to be able to know that you are both, it's like I'm working when I work, or when I go out, or, you know, when we go out on the road, or when we're writing music, or when the projects are doing well. I'm thinking on one hand, wow, God is providing for me through what we're doing, but God is providing for my brother and his family as well. you know, and that's a good feel to know that, wow, I'm a part of being of blessing my brother and his family, because I'm bringing creativity to the table, and I know that he feels the same way. So this is just, it's a family business, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to us.
Mm-hmm. So who's the oldest?
That would be me. That would be me.
So do you ever get that thing?
Only by 11 months and a few weeks.
Yeah. Not.
So I know when y'all was younger, y'all first started getting into music. So was Anson like, I'm the oldest, I can do this, little brother? Be quiet.
He was a little bossy, but it wasn't to the point where we would have issues with each other. I just kind of, because the crazier part was when we first started doing this, Anson lyrics, I left it all to Anson. So if he had an idea, as far as words were concerned, I just let him run with it. I might have an idea and say it, and it wasn't that great. And he would, do what he needed to do to make it make sense. And so I took a lot of what I do from him. Like, he's the reason, big part of the reason that I write the way I do, because I was like, man, I used to be like, I wish I could write like him. I just can't. I'm more into doing tracks. So as I grew, actually I would say the hinge-pin in me becoming a writer was something that Fred did to me. On commission number 7, we wrote a few songs on that project, and I had a track that I'd done, and they loved the track. And Fred said, "Okay, now go write it." I was like, nah, I don't do the writing. Anson does the writing. He's like, "Oh, you could do it." It's kind of nonchalant. I was like, "Oh, you could do it." I was like, "I can't. No, Anson's the one that writes. My lyrics be stupid." Like, ugh. So he threw me in a room at the studio where we were doing number 7, and I was sweating bullets. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna write this song? So I wrote a couple ideas down, and I called myself, just so they wouldn't use it, writing something I thought was dumb or stupid sounded. And I came out the room and sang it for them, and they were like, "That's hot. We love that." Song ended up being "I Can't Live Without You." And that was like the first song that I had totally written. I mean, of course, Fred and I think Mitchell may have added some bells and whistles as far as the lyrics were concerned, but that was like my first song. And that really got me into, that got me interested and kind of hyped on, oh, maybe I can do this. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I want to give you guys kudos for being brothers, working together, and understanding the business, and foremost just
making it work.
Yeah, and believing each other. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that guy. I love that guy.
Yeah. Now, you all's music is unique and very inspirational, of course. What initially inspired you all to get into the music industry?
Music was, I would say, it was partially inspiration, but then partially it was outside motivation. Some of it came from the inside, some of it came from the outside, and that outside was my dad. My dad, was like, "Oh, you're gonna do this, you guys are gonna play, you guys are gonna sing." He saw, that there was some musicality in us, and he was just like, "All right, what y'all want to play? What you want to play? What you want to play?" And he provided the instruments and the lessons, and then he pushed us and like, "You're gonna do this," and we grew to love it based upon a lot of things that if you've got music in you, we have family that is in music, that sings. My mom and my dad both sing. So my mom plays, and it was just a part of our family. It was a part of our lives. It was a part of the church. It was part of everything that we did pretty much had music involved in it. So we didn't have much of a choice, honestly. We were going to be involved in music in one way or another.
Oh wow, interesting. And I know you guys work with like different artists like Justin Bieber, Mary J. Blige, Chris Brown, and some of the guys you mentioned earlier like Fred Hammond and so forth. Who are some of the artists or any of the influences that left like a life impression on you?
Ooh, the Hawkins,
Yeah.
Rance Allen,
Yeah.
Andre Crouch.
Yeah.
Like from early on, those are the ones that we kind of gravitated toward. And from that, of course, when the Winans came out, we were like, this is dope. But then followed, I think 2 years after that, Commission came out, and we were sold. Like, this is what we want. Like this right here, that's what we identified with the most. But then too, growing up, we didn't listen to a lot of secular music, but when we did, it was people like Stevie Wonder, Chicago, Charlie Wilson, that band, Earth, Wind and Fire, Toto, like Phil Collins, Sting. Like we had a pretty eclectic palette when it came to music. Like we didn't just listen to gospel or R&B. It was some pop stuff that we Michael Sambello, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins. The list is kind of vast. And then as far as our vocal styles, Fred turned me on to Donny Hathaway after I'd already been into Stevie Wonder and George Benson, cats like that. And as soon as I heard Donny Hathaway, I was like, okay, this is the last ingredient that I'm gonna put into my pot that I'm gonna call, my style. So I studied Fred Hammond. He's like my mentor vocally. I studied him and just started throwing the Donny Hathaway tone and the Stevie Wonder riffs and Charlie Wilson flair and those type. And of course Rance Allen. Like I said, I was singing Rance Allen stuff real young. Like was one of my go-to. So it was just I think a pot of a lot of influence that created what everybody hears as Dawkins and Dawkins now.
Yeah. And for the viewers that's watching this, or even some artists that's gonna watch this, you guys work with some big names. You guys are big names yourself. What type of work ethic? What type of grind is it? Do it happen overnight? Do it happen years? I know it happen different for people, but you guys have an amazing catalog. What type of sweat work goes into this to make this a reality?
There's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Years, grinding. Something you don't want to do. What'd you say?
Eat, sleep, and drink.
Yeah. Some things you don't necessarily want to always do, but you try to take a lesson from everything that you are doing. Whether it be working with an artist, working with a choir, working with a producer, working with some collaborating with some other writers and stuff. You try to take lessons and pointers, learn something. It's been, as much as we've been producing and writing and creating, we've also been being produced. We've been being written and created ourselves into who we are, and we'll continue to be in that mode, learning and growing and being created and changed and chiseled. We're going to continue to do that. So I think for artists or producers or whatever that want to move forward, be learners, be open, be open, and anytime you get a chance to collaborate or get an opportunity to work with somebody, do it.
Alrighty, so this has been wonderful. Now, before we conclude the interview, is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
More music is coming. More music is coming. If you haven't checked out the first volume of Never Gets Old, Love and Light, I would encourage you strongly to get a hold of it. There's some great music, some great things that we feel that God gave us, and we share as well that, hey, you know what? This is a gift of ours that we like to share. We're not responsible how people receive it. We're responsible for sharing it. So once that we've gotten a lot of great feedback from the project, and now from the volume 1, volume 2 is soon to come, Faith and Favor. So we're going to continue to keep this thing rolling and prayerfully be a blessing to those that hear. So yeah, that's what we want to share. We've just got more music, more things that are coming. We're going to hopefully be in a city near you, maybe in Kankakee or something.
We'll watch out for you guys, for real. And
yes, sir.
To keep up with what we're doing, you can follow me at eDawkins, and you can follow Anson at ADawk, and then the group at Real Dawkins and Dawkins. And then on Facebook, just type in our names, Eric Dawkins or Anson Dawkins.
Yep.
Twitter, same handles, eDawkins and ADawk.
And at D&D Music.
Yeah.
Let's keep up with it. You know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'm saying thank you again because I went back, I checked out some of your music, and I'm like, man, a lot of people need this. It's very inspiring. And I know exactly what you guys is doing with your music. So thank you, for real.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bless you, my friend.
Thank you. So you guys have a rest of the great day and all that great stuff. And hey, we'll be in touch.
All right. Love it. Great to meet you guys.
All right.
You too.
Likewise.
Thank you.
All right.
Hold your head up high to the sky, so high as the days go by. I promise everything is gonna be